Hey, just want to remind you, if you're watching this episode of the podcast, we originally streamed it live Monday evening for sponsors exclusively at roosterteeth.com. If you'd like more information and a 30-day free trial, please click the link below. Brandon, your fucking phone fucked it up!
That was
right at the end! I never get it right the first time!
You are not going to get it right the second.
You are not coming back.
I'm so sorry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast.
Hey.
This week brought to you by... I'm Gus.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Gus. I was really concerned when we walked out here that Chris had a giant glass of tequila. What are you drinking? Please tell me that's not just straight tequila.
No. I did have, because I had a bottle.
It was bigger
Sitting
before.
next to
That's why I thought it was tequila.
So it's like, oh, yeah. So it's tequila and Red Bull.
Is it like half and half? Because that glass was full.
I'm not sure the exact mix, but it's like...
That doesn't sound very good.
It's not good, but it's like, it's effective.
It's just what was there.
It's like I want to get up, and I also want to get drunk and kind of down at the same time. I've never understood drinking like alcohol with Red Bull.
Well,
Isn't it? It's just like an immediate bump.
Yeah, but
While
I don't.
still get you like kind of stupid.
I think the problem is I don't like the taste of Red Bull.
Oh, it's
I don't
awful.
I don't
It's
either.
the
I don't
worst.
either.
Then why are you drinking it?
Because that was the only energy drink in the fridge. Tequila and coffee would have been way weirder and
It's
gross.
the greater good, Gus.
there's probably a tequila coffee drink, though, isn't it? I mean, there's got to be.
No.
Gus, I have a confession to make to you.
Well, this is going to be great if we're starting with this right off the bat.
So about 4 years ago,
Oh, wow. Going into the vault.
yeah, you, Esther, and I, we went out to dinner. This cool place on
I don't believe...
E6.
I already,
Yeah, this doesn't
already
sound
calling
right.
bullshit on your story.
It happened. We ate, had some drinks, then we went to a bar kind of down the street. And then we went back to your house and started drinking some more.
definitely a lie.
All kind of hanging out. No, this totally happened. You seriously not remember?
No, I don't remember this. Where do we eat?
I don't know, a place on E6.
Oh, that doesn't narrow it down.
So then we went back to your house, which this did happen, and started, kept drinking. And then maybe you remember now, I started getting kind of blown up on my text.
Yeah?
And it was this girl who kept like badgering me. So I was like, oh, hey, hold up. I need to go outside and like take this call. And then I would come back in. And then like 10 minutes later, I'd have to go back and then come back in and over and over and over. Well, it was actually no girl. I was going outside and throwing up next to your house because I was sick because of how much alcohol I drank. And I didn't want you to know that was it because I thought I would
don't
lose
even-
credibility.
I don't even remember hanging out with you.
Are you serious?
I don't
This
think this
completely happened.
I'm
Ask
gonna
Esther.
I'm going to text her right now.
So
Yeah.
you're just like,
No, I don't-
I'm just getting I've got to go check out my...
No, in fairness, I went in front of your neighbor's house. I was like, gosh, sorry, guys, I really got to go. And then I'd go out and I'd throw up some more and then come back.
Jesus.
You know
Why did
they-
you keep drinking?
I stopped at that
He was
point, but
trying
it was
to- he
too
didn't wanna
late.
lose
I was
cred.
gone. By the time that I got to your house and we had like maybe one drink, I didn't drink anymore, but it was just downhill. I went out like 4 or 5 times.
What kind of bully are you, Gus?
He's not,
You're such
he
a
wasn't
bully.
pressuring me. I was just...
He wanted to keep up.
I didn't, yeah. This is like my opportunity, and I didn't want to screw it up, or else we'd never hang out again outside.
How many times have we hung out again since then?
None. That was it.
You know he smelled like puke coming in. You know that he knew and Esther had to have known. Like, you came in, like, vomit on your shirt.
Apparently not, because he didn't remember it. So.
Yeah, I don't
It was
remember.
probably really
I thought you
drunk.
just thought it was
probably
rude
drunk.
because I kept going out, and I have to be like, oh, this girl. I have to call this girl. She's going crazy.
I have no memory of that. Like zero.
Wow,
That's your importance, Brandon. On the
that
scale of things.
hurts in ways that I can't really put into
He's
words.
been waiting 4 years.
If it
to
makes you
tell.
feel any better, I never hang out with anyone. So you blew it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't even remember hanging out with you. That's what little of an impression you left on me.
We hung out once, Gus.
I remember that.
We hung out.
It was a good
You
time.
remember that?
Yeah. That was, we had roast.
Why?
Or
Why?
something.
Why do you remember Aaron and not me?
Because he wasn't constantly going outside.
That's true. I threw up at the table like a man. And go outside in the bushes like an asshole.
Man,
Yeah.
it's gonna bug me now.
Ask Esther. Text her. I know.
I don't want to get distracted.
This
in the middle
absolutely
of a
happened.
good story. No, I don't believe you.
You believe I make it? I don't think I dreamed it.
It's really
Maybe
weird.
you did.
Oh God, that's scary. Scary to think like maybe some of your memories aren't real. You just remembering them. Does that make sense?
Well, I've had that where people are telling stories, and then I'm like, and they've told the story multiple times. So then I start putting myself.
You do
in
that all the
story.
time with me. You always like you'll start a story and I'll be like, dude, that's my story. I've told you that like 2 years ago, and you're like, oh yeah. And so like you do that all the time.
Well, it's like someone tells you a story multiple. It's like I feel like I was there.
That's a phenomenon. You know what? And I hate to say this, that happens with married couples a lot. I think I'm hanging around you too much. If that's happening, we're hanging out way too much.
The
Man.
thing I always wonder is like I always forget if I've had a conversation with someone. Like there's like 3 states for me. Did this happen in a dream or real life? And then I guess there are really only 2 states. And then did it happen in real life? And did I tell it on the podcast or did I not tell it on the podcast? Because sometimes like I'll start telling a story on the podcast and be like, I think I told this already. Then you get into it like, no, wait, I haven't. This is a new one.
I mean, that's a lot of hours of talking. Like, who knows? If you're ever had this happen, sometimes I'll start telling Paula about this story, and I'll get like 30 seconds in, 45 seconds in, and then after I'm done, she'll just be like, you know, I was there for that.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, yeah.
Or it's like, you know, that was your ex-girlfriend, Brandon. And you're like, oh yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
And then you move on,
Yeah.
right?
Memory's the worst.
I feel like, yeah, as
She's accepted it though that I'm not going to remember most of our relationship.
see, so you shouldn't be mad that I forgot our relationship.
No, that's
entirely.
different. That was the one time. I
Yeah.
thought it meant
I think
something.
it's the same thing.
Or at least I thought it was a reason why you weren't hanging out with me
No,
anymore.
well, maybe that's the
It's just
positive to
completely
take from
indifferent.
it. Right. Is that it's not that you offended me or that I was upset. It's just that I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's worse. That's way worse.
That being said, you can probably remember the sides I had with my roast beef. You know what they
I want
were.
to say there was broccoli,
Yes.
and I want to say there might have been mashed potatoes.
Who is a better friend with Gus? The mashed potatoes broccoli guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Team MPB.
fucking congratulations, Aaron. I'm going to go throw up now.
No, you're gonna get a text and you're gonna leave. So I was speaking of throwing up. I visited. I went on a trip the other day, and I visited Ireland. It was the first time I've ever been to Ireland. It was a really cool country. I was there for a very short amount of time. And I was like, what am I gonna do? You know, I've only got a few hours in the country. It's like I'm gonna try to find like every coolest pub I can and just walk around the city from pub to pub, trying to drink my way around the city. And I did my damnedest to do it.
How many did you get to?
I think I did 8 or 9
Of the
Did you have to catch a
thousands.
flight like immediately after?
pretty quickly after. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was not the smartest plan, but it was a well executed plan.
I think Chris and I told this on the podcast. I don't know if you were in here. We had a lot of beer that we bought in Vegas that we didn't drink.
We also, we hadn't slept. We decided we had an early flight and we had to stay up all night drinking because if we went to sleep, we wouldn't wake up.
Right. Obvious.
Yeah.
Right. It's like we have to stay up drinking.
That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we brought the beer to the airport, and then we got to the point where we could not take it any further. So I think like Chris just started like chugging beer before the security checkpoint.
I love
I didn't waste it.
And were you
The
pushing
strip-
a cart of beer up the escalator?
A cart of beer? No.
Yeah.
It wasn't a cart. Maybe I put the beer
a
on the
wheelbarrow.
cart while I was drinking it.
Maybe
Maybe
Oh
that's
no! It wasn't a cart of beer. It was a cart with beer on it.
Well, when you say a cart of beer, you imagine it's like there's like
It's made of beer bottles.
it's
and
like
got
I'm reloading a grocery store or something. It was just beer with on a cart.
I love the Vegas airport because you can, if you're there drinking at a bar, like in the airport, you can get your drink in a to-go cup to take it on the plane with you.
No way.
Yeah, so there's this one bar I always go to whenever I'm taking off from Vegas. There's one bar, like I'll always stop and wait, for my flight to board, and I'll just start drinking there. And you can get like, it's like you order a drink, or for $2 more, you can get a double, which is like huge. And they're like, and if you want, if you don't finish it, don't worry, we'll just put it in a plastic to-go cup for you. Take it on the plane.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Wow.
Yeah, so always order the double in whenever you're in the Vegas airport.
The problem with that is every time I'm flying out of Vegas, with the exception of that time because we'd never stopped drinking, I never want to drink at that point because I'm done drinking for like a year after Vegas.
Yeah.
No,
Do you ever
makes
get to the
sense.
point where you're like, I just don't want any more
You're on the
alcohol?
verge of alcohol
Every day-
poisoning
every
at
day.
that point. Yeah.
Every
So-
day, but it pulls me back in.
So did you run any fights in the Ireland bars? Anything cool? Anything stereotypical? I suppose.
Only one. like one fight, and like the dude got like tackled, and the police showed up.
What?
Really? That's still cool though.
Yeah, what
but
happened?
I mean, it's like you see that anywhere in Austin. I feel like that's a stereotype for Ireland, but it's like you go down to 6th Street, you see like 5 of them.
I was
Yeah.
at the
Yeah,
Long
true.
Branch Inn the other day, and a guy got kicked out of the front doors by the bartender. He got kicked out, and the bartender started beating him with a golf club as I was walking in. And I looked at it for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm still going to go in here. And I walked in and had
The
a beer.
bouncer's like beating him, and he's like, "Hey, I need to see your ID." Like, at the same time.
He's like, as soon as I'm done with this 7-iron, you bring me your ID. Yeah, it was awesome. I felt more inclined to go in that bar because the bartender was such a badass.
Have you seen any fights like that, like on the side of the road, like road rage, like people who get in accidents or anything like that?
I've never seen it in person, but I saw a video earlier today of a road rage incident in China where a bus driver got mad at a car and started ramming it. And he hit the car like 8 times. Then eventually he slams the car into a tree. The driver of the car gets out to try to run away, and the bus bowls him over. The bus hits him. The bus driver stops with the bus on top of the guy's legs and gets out and starts screaming at the guy
my
while the
God.
guy's like stuck under the
No.
bus. And people are just filming it with their cell phone cameras.
Not helping him or anything?
Eventually, yeah, like people run up, but the video
Well,
cuts off.
It'll help him when he's suing him.
Yeah.
Something
No
similar
fear.
happened in Houston. Same thing. Like these guys started kind of like yelling at each other, and then there was the bystander who's like, don't want to get involved, don't want to help, but want to record the whole thing, and they're just kind of arguing as you kind of expect it, and then all of a sudden, they start breaking out into this brawl. And I don't know if we have the video to look at. It's just a reference. So yeah,
Guy smoking a cig.
yeah, smoking a cig. So the people on the right, they're in the blue pickup truck, and those guys are from the white car. So
Whoa.
obviously said something. The guys in the white car came back, and then they just started like pounding each other. But eventually, cooler heads prevail. Everybody
Right.
goes back to the cars. Nothing more is gonna happen here. Everything's gonna be, oh my gosh, the truck
Damn.
slams into the car, takes off.
That's a demolition derby style move.
Yeah. And then you think they're going to call the police, but the white car actually drives off and follows the pickup truck. And the police have no idea what happened with those cars. They have not.
There's video.
There's got to
Yeah,
be
they don't-
license plates in it, right? No?
I guess there's been no update.
I guess
there's no police report. Like there's
took
just
care
a
of it. They
car
handled
chase.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's like if you don't ever report that, the police they're not gonna like track them down to be like, well, you both were dicks. I don't know.
But there's an assault happening.
Yeah, there's an assault.
But who? It
Or
seemed like they were
battery,
fighting each other. It seems
it
like
depends
kind of mutual.
on
Because
I think
assault
who
is
threw the
verbal,
first,
battery
who
is
threw the first
physical.
punch, I think
right.
is what it is.
And it
But
also
they kind of
depends
dove
on
at each other. They
what
kind of
you
like
use, right? Like,
Oh,
can't
right,
you,
right, yeah.
If you use just your
Assault
fist or
with a
you
deadly
use like a
weapon, yeah,
weapon or whatever, stuff like that.
So I've got the bus video here too as well. I don't
Yes.
know if we can cut to it. But
I
so this is like towards the end of it. He's already
this is in
he's
China?
like pushing the white car off the road. Yeah,
Whoa!
Why?
He's hauling ass.
and they'll run and catch up here in just a few seconds. Yeah, he's like shoving
pushing
that car
the white
along.
car?
You see it, and then the driver is getting out and running away at this point. And he's chasing the driver down with the bus.
Why? Like,
they're-
is there a reason?
I don't know. It wasn't in the story. And he'll come up here in a second. You'll see the driver over the guy under the bus. The guy under the bus is like screaming, obviously, and the driver's just
Oh,
shouting
no.
at him.
Oh my God, this does not help me. I'm trying to decide between flying or riding a bus to Mexico. This does not help.
Someone proposed to me over the weekend saying that there should be between the hours of like 3 and 4 or maybe 2 and 4 there should be chaos hours, so anything goes on the road.
Are you talking about like the purge? But
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
it's-
exactly what I was
it's
thinking
like
of.
on a nightly basis.
But he called it chaos hours. I think it would just be on Fridays and Saturdays. But basically, as soon as 2 a.m. hits, it's chaos hours, and you can do whatever on the roads. You just go crazy, you drive crazy, blah, 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 blah. I think he was trying to get around like DUI stuff, but I took it to a further level. It's like, oh man, you'd race around and do all this. And he's like, yeah, it'd be chaos hours. And I was thinking like,
so you can't like burn down buildings.
no. Let's
just
keep
on
it
the road.
Just
Just
on the road.
You can burn down cars.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Not
driver.
buildings. Yeah, and I was like, man, chaos hours sounds like fun. Because if you don't want to participate, you don't participate. But if you happen to be out,
But like not every night, like once a year,
I said
like
Fridays and-
Halloween.
No, what
no,
if,
no, no,
like-
Fridays and Saturdays.
No,
What if it's
once
like
a year?
you're at home and your wife goes into labor during chaos hour?
You better have a big fucking truck.
you gotta like Mad Max it.
Yeah, you gotta Mad Max it. You have to have that vehicle that's just for chaos hours.
Maybe there's like a chaos Uber.
Yeah.
Or, like,
Well,
extreme-
not in Austin. You can't get. You know, you'd have to get a
Chaos Uber's okay.
Get me or whatever.
Regular Uber's not.
Yeah. But you'd have this. You could choose between car, SUV, and then this thing with just like spikes coming out of it, and you're like, yeah, chaos hour. You pick the chaos
Oh,
car.
I'd take monster truck.
Yeah, monster
Yeah,
truck.
that'd be awesome.
So
Yeah.
people are following up on your story, Brandon. They said that apparently all 4 people have been identified today, and the case is now a criminal case since using cars or battering rams a felony, and they filed a police report today.
That's assault with a
Oh.
deadly weapon. Using a car, I think it was in a Houston case when, was it that the woman who ran over her husband 10 or 20 years ago? Do you remember that, Gus?
No.
In a
Or
parking lot?
all the time?
In the hotel parking lot? Anyway, it was assault with a deadly weapon because she killed him
Wow.
with a car.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're like, a car's a weapon when you use it like that.
Also,
I
like,
think.
If you're like a boxer or an MMA fighter, you're considered
Or
a deadly
military,
weapon.
right?
Wait,
Really?
you are?
I thought.
Really? Wait. If you're a boxer, you're considered a deadly weapon.
I think your fists are because you're trained.
Wait,
You're just
that's
basing that
bullshit,
on
right?
Con
They're
Air.
not- They're not really considered.
You're just
deadly.
basing that on Con
Let me
Air.
look it up. Boxer.
Because if you
I mean,
could
don't get me wrong,
actually
it's a
say,
great
like,
film, but-
no, legally this is a deadly weapon.
Well, you
Like,
say a lethal weapon. You say these are lethal weapons. And you like that. And people go,
but that's kind of unfair too, because then it's like you punch some.
Does it go the opposite way? Like if I hit somebody, the police would be like, "Oh no,
yeah.
don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That's cute."
I tried doing a Google search to get an answer, and it's all like armchair lawyers. There's no way
really?
you're gonna find like
Right.
a real.
You might find something on, I don't know, maybe Reddit. But that'd be armchair lawyering too, right?
Right. I hate how everyone is an expert. Like there's no vetting. There's no like.
Right.
Here's my credentials.
Sometimes you get linked with sources, and that's nice, but most of the time it's like, listen, I worked for a law firm in the front office for 10 years, and let me tell you, fists are deadly weapons. And you're like, all right,
That's
whatever.
also why Wikipedia is so unbelievably unreliable.
I don't
Like,
know.
If
I don't
you pick
believe
something
that.
that you generally know a lot about, and then you go to that page and you're like, "Oh, a lot of this is wrong," and it's like, all right, now think of everything else on Wikipedia.
I get.
And like a lot of the citation, you're like, I'll see the citation, and then you click on the link, and it
it's
doesn't
just like
go anywhere.
it's a page number to a book that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Or
that's
it
true.
links to another Wikipedia.
That's actually
Yeah.
what I find the most useful part of Wikipedia.
Yeah, is the citations
sources,
on the bottom,
citations,
yeah.
right? It's like you read something, you're like, okay, I want to find the real source that's actually an authority on this. You click on
Yeah.
that, and assuming it doesn't 404 or redirect to something nonsensical, that's where the actual value is.
Yeah.
I got down a deep, like a Wikipedia hole the other night, and I started reading about Hart Island in New York City, and apparently it's the world's biggest potter's field, which is where they bury people who are like unknown or like weren't identified at the morgue. And there's something like over 1 million people buried on this island in New York City, and it's weird. So I started reading up more about it, and like the New York Times had this thing, and what it was is like New York City has these crazy laws where within 48 hours or something like that, if your body isn't identified at the morgue, then the first thing they do is they have to offer your body to a medical school as like a cadaver. And then if they pass, then you're sent to the potter's field and buried in an anonymous grave
Why would the
with a bunch of other people, like hundreds of people.
That's sad if your body just gets passed over as a cadaver by a medical school.
Well,
Like,
sometimes
that
they're
itself
just
is
like,
depressing.
we've got too many bodies.
So
and
do
don't
they?
need-
Does
What's
everybody?
That? Is that Hart's Island?
Oh, is it? Is that one of the buildings on it? I know it's got some old buildings.
Oh, that's
on it.
terrifying.
looks
Or
like
is
a
that
nice
just a
place to be buried.
screensaver? I don't know. What are we looking at?
So does everybody get their own space, or do they start stacking people?
No, here's what it is. So they'll dig like a 200-foot long trench.
Yeah.
That is on
And
Hart's
they'll
Island.
bury bodies three tall pine boxes, right? 3 tall, 75 across, 2 deep. So
3 tall, 5 across, 2 deep.
no,
Okay.
3 tall, 25 across.
Okay.
So it ends up being 150 bodies.
That's it,
So
that's 100
75,
that's 150,
75.
yeah.
Right? And then, but now they're geotagging them. They've been doing that for like, a few years. But what they did is they had a grid system in case someone was like, hey, I haven't heard from grandma in like 5 years. And they go, you file a claim or whatever, and they could look up and they'd be like, oh yeah, your grandma's buried with 200 other people in this ditch. And so we can go, and they exhume them. But they have to but if your grandma's at like the bottom of the 3 thing, they have to and it's pine boxes.
Man,
They
whose
don't-
job
Yeah.
is that? To
It's
be like,
prisoners. They have the prisoners do it from Rikers Island, and they
What?
pay them
What?
50 cents an hour. Yeah. So they have these prisoners working, all day to bury these bodies in these big trenches at 50 cents an hour, and like it's so strange.
and then some assholes like trying to find his grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prisoners are like, man, fuck that.
Well,
guy."
apparently there's some popular and if you don't have enough money for a funeral, what they'll do in New York is you can check you want a city burial for your family member, but everyone, or purportedly they think that it's like a cremation or something, blah blah blah. But no, a city burial is they put you in the box and then they take you out to Hart Island and they bury you in the big trench.
See, there should be an app for that available to the public.
It
Where you
is.
could,
You
like,
can go
look-
online. You can go in the GPS and see like, oh, this is
No,
where-
like so I can get on my
but
phone and I
they
can
have
search for
names of
something
people?
cool and then
I think
like
so,
track
yeah.
myself, like kind of like a scavenger hunt.
well, you can
It's sort
track
of
your
like-
body.
Yeah, no, like an app where I can be like, I can look at like some cool descriptions of people, like, oh, this person was a pirate.
Well,
They're
they-
still pirates,
they
right?
don't
And then
have
like,
those- they
then
just
I have to like,
names.
I
Yeah,
have to
but
like go to the
just
lot and then like
names.
track myself.
Yeah, they just download movies from the internet now, though. It's not like cool.
No, they're still pirates in like the Pacific, right?
I guess around the Somalia, right? Like
Yeah.
Africa. I've
What
heard
does it do? How do you qualify being a pirate
You rob
steal
other
shit on
ships.
the
in
ocean?
international waters? Like,
Yeah.
how far do I have to go
You just-
off the coast of Texas?
international waters.
You can do it in Texas if you're in a ship stealing from other ships.
Yeah, but
Okay.
how far do you have to go off the coast?
You don't have to go anywhere.
How deep can a ship, how
Like-
shallow can a ship be?
I think you could qualify as a pirate if you're on one ship and you jump to
No.
another.
What if-
like,
I think
so if
you
you're
could
like
have-
running around in the ocean and I take
First,
something
I
from
think-
somebody,
I
I'm
think
not
That's
a pirate.
a buccaneer.
Could
That's
you
not
be
a pirate.
Could you be a road pirate? And could you like take over 18-wheelers on the interstate
During chaos hours, you can.
and then steal their stuff, and then you'd still be a road
I mean,
pirate?
yeah. To me, a road pirate. That's just a name for like a car thief, right?
Very,
Like-
very well, very good.
Like,
Gus.
So a pirate's just named for a boat thief.
Exactly, and that's why that's
But they don't just steal
Well-
boats. They steal oil and all sorts of shit. And people. They steal people.
yeah. All right, yeah.
I saw
What about canoes? No, sorry.
If it's on international waters, I think that's the.
I saw an interesting episode of that Vice series on HBO. I'm always watching that show, and if anybody else watches it, but
Yeah. No, check it out.
they had an episode about how in recent years the incidents of piracy around like Somalia and like what was known as like this really high pirate area, highly pirated area,
Is piratey.
a high piracy percentage, how piracy has dropped significantly there because now these companies have set up shop where it's like private military companies that'll have boats that are just filled with weapons and soldiers.
Yeah.
And so when a ship leaves dock and meets up with these boats in international waters, they hire soldiers and weapons, rent them, they sit on their boats and defend them against pirates and then just drop them off at the next boat.
Or they've seen that Tom Hanks movie and they understand that piracy is no laughing matter.
Look
No?
at me. Look at me. I am the captain now.
No?
No.
All right.
No, I don't think
You don't think that's
I
it?
don't think that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is crazy to me because like I think about, I don't know if anybody else ever played like the old Metal Gear games, and like one of the things they always used to talk about was the rise of private military corporations. And I thought, as a kid and growing up, even several years ago, I thought that's ridiculous. Like that'll never happen. It's like now we live in a world where there are private military
Blackwater
corporations,
and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
right? Like like operating alongside the military, overseas, and then there's boats like this that just have like private military all on them with weapons and soldiers. It's like you could just rent them out and use them to help defend whatever it is you need.
yeah, and it's how do you come into contact with those, private military firms? It's like if I had enough money, could I call them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the whole point.
Anyone will.
Yeah.
If you have money, anyone will be happy to take it.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Like,
Is that how it works?
I just don't know if there's an expectation that they only work with government states or something.
No,
or
because
is
these
it
are
like-
all like private shipping companies.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So are they killing people too, or just?
They talk. So they in the documentary they say that most of these companies do not want to talk on camera about it, but that they were able to talk to one and they outline their procedures, which is normally like just intimidation and deterrence. Like they don't want to shoot anyone. They just let it be known that they are armed and they're willing
They
to
have
fire
to
on them.
defend
Right.
themselves.
But then if they don't,
It's
cease,
a legal thing, too,
Right.
right? Because, like, technically, I don't know, pirate what legal counsel they have, but I mean, they could sue these military places for, these private military companies for shooting them or their friends or whatever the case is. I mean, couldn't they?
Would you be
I would think
concerned
they
if
could.
when we started sending like envoys to other planets to colonize them, they also sent some of these soldiers? Would you be like, what's going, like what? Like,
No, you got to
where are they
absolutely
going?
send soldiers
Why
like
would,
that.
yeah.
Because it's not
Why?
only
If it's
it's not only about contacting other civilizations. It's about wildlife you may encounter.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you know about that, I would assume like there's no way we're gonna get someplace that has wildlife. Or
Then why are we sending people?
that's what I'm saying. I'd be suspicious. Like I don't think they tell people that, but I'd be suspicious if they started sending like a military envoy with like people.
To ask, what,
I don't understand what's going on
I just
here.
don't think. I'm
I've gotten
assuming.
lost.
If
I
we
do not
sent-
think they're
if-
going to tell us if
you're
we're
saying-
going someplace that has another
So you're
civilization.
saying
I think they will
if we
not
sent
tell us.
diplomatic envoys into the space, that'd be fine. You wouldn't be worried. But if they sent military
I'd
along
be
with them, it-
suspicious. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, these guys want to go here. They want to figure out what's the best way to establish a society based on what's on this planet.
No,
but if they
that's-
send the military, then I'm
That's-
fucking scared.
No.
I had a buddy who used to get stoned all the time who wanted to be a space lawyer. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to have his own little space station and be around whenever, I guess, international, space capsules ran into each other and stuff like that. He wanted to be a space ambulance chaser.
That's what I was gonna say.
swear to God. I swear to God.
So
Yeah,
I
that-
saw a story today about how the ISS has successfully completed its 100,000th orbit around Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it's something, I forget the number. It was something like, it was a couple of billion miles. I think it was like almost 3 billion miles that it had traveled. It's like it's the equivalent of 10 round trip journeys to Mars.
Didn't it officially outlive its expectancy?
I don't think so, not by this point.
Really?
I thought it has by a few years. I thought you were right.
I think it was like it came time and they're like, oh man, what do we have nothing.
Man, if it was anything like Mirror, man, they milked Mirror for a few years until finally it was like, okay, it's crumbling, it's coming down. We gotta leave.
Those cosmonauts spent years up there.
Yeah,
alone.
like dealing with lots of
Mirrors?
shit too.
Years. Did I say years?
I said years.
All
They
right.
could have used good space representation for their,
Just
for their
saying.
illegal woes.
I would be freaked out if they send no.
If a fight, so your space lawyer stoner friend brings up an interesting point. If a fight breaks out on the space station between like a Russian cosmonaut and an American astronaut, like who's
Someone
the police?
needs-
Right, like what country has jurisdiction over?
Whichever space station they're in.
Well,
it's ISS. It's international.
it's whatever.
space.
The, it's whatever
Oh.
the mission. Whoever's running the mission.
Wait,
right?
what?
Or-
You're saying what module they're in?
No, he said space station, but
I was like, are
It's
they on a
international.
U.S.?
Whatever the case is, my buddy Peavy's going to pull up in his space Honda hatchback, right up to the dock, come in with his tie loose, and just be like, "Who needs a lawyer? He doesn't speak like that, but
Chris,
he's
I
like
thought you-
ready."
I thought you meant it's like whoever built that specific module that the
Oh,
fight
that'd
happened
get
in.
complicated.
Like,
They get really complicated.
No, I forget. I don't know how they do it. But
there is a. I know no one listening to this podcast has made this because this is way too fast. There is a page on Wikipedia about space jurisdiction.
oh
Yes!
my god.
With subcategories of trade in space, space marriage, and the future of space jurisdiction.
if my buddy wouldn't have gotten so stoned all the time and stayed in school, he would have been that space lawyer. Now he's just a simple. He works in the towers directing air traffic control.
It's terrifying.
I totally forgot about that. He should not be in those towers. He is in a tower right now directing airplanes.
Well, he sounds like a
It's-
chill kind of guy.
Oh, he's very chill.
That's what you got to be. That's
And
like
if
a high
like the
pressure
planes
job.
are doing their thing and they're not close to each other, just let them go. That's
let 'em
probably
be.
be his deal.
Then once they bump, then he's
as
air lawyer.
soon as soon as that accident happens, I tell you he's back in law school. He's just back in law school studying space law.
All right, here I'm gonna read this bit here. I want to remind everyone this episode of Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by. So you were talking about air traffic controller. God, man, I guess I'd been out of town for a few days, and I guess there's been a lot of rain going on in Austin and Houston while I've been gone. And I was flying on my way back yesterday, and I was on a flight from London to Houston, and the whole flight they're like, "Oh, we're ahead of schedule. We're gonna land 30 minutes early." I was like, "Great, this is awesome." And they have like the map, and you can see where you are in the flight, and we're getting close. Like we're coming over Arkansas, heading down towards Texas. Like, oh man, we're gonna be there so soon. Gonna watch Game of Thrones, and then we reach a point where instead of like heading towards Houston, the plane turns. It starts going straight south. I'm like, oh fuck, that's not right.
Like into the water, like toward the water?
Yeah, towards the Gulf.
Oh yeah, no, that's a.
And I'm like, oh
There's a
shit.
no
Like
win.
they haven't said anything. So like there's internet on the plane. So like I pull up, the weather in Houston, and it's just like red thunderstorms over the entire city.
Oh shit.
And I'm like looking online, and they're like, I see the alert online. It's like, Houston Intercontinental has been ground stopped.
Did they just
shut down?
Did they just circle for like 10 minutes across the city?
They didn't tell anyone. We went like halfway between New Orleans and Houston, out over the Gulf, and it started circling. I was like, these motherfuckers aren't even saying anything.
Oh my god.
And then like after like the third circle, the captain comes on and is like, yeah, there's thunderstorms in Houston. We can't land. We're just gonna circle for a bit. We have to circle for a minimum of another 30 minutes, and if we need fuel, we'll divert to New Orleans. And
Did it make you
we'll
think of
wait.
that the time that pilot was circling for weather and then just wasn't paying attention and they ran out of fuel
Oh,
and
believe
crashed
me,
the plane?
I thought about
Yeah.
that extensively.
To the point where you just want to say like to the flight attendant, I know the captain knows what he's doing, but
Yeah.
if you just want to mention.
So we circled, and then it got to a point, and I could see like in my weather app, like there was a red thunderstorm and it was moving, and there was like another red cell that was moving in. So it was like a little gap of green, and then like
God.
right around then the captain comes on. It's like, all right, there's a little break in the weather.
Got it.
We're gonna
Oh,
try and ride it. I was like, oh shit! I was like, I normally never get nervous on a plane, but I was like, this is bad. Like this is bad.
I think the worst I ever heard was like we were doing that same thing, kind of circular, or we were getting in a rough patch, and the pilot just came on and goes, seatbelts. And that was like, and we were all like, what did did he say seatbelt? And he didn't say anything else after that. And it's just like you saw the thing go on, and we're like, I guess we're gonna die.
Who doesn't put on have their seatbelt on all the time?
I don't wear my
I-
seatbelt all the
Why?
time.
People,
I'm just hanging out.
a lot of times you go to the bathroom and you don't put it back on because it's
Yeah.
Why?
And it's too much
You know what
pressure
can
on
happen?
here for too long.
And also, what
You could like just there's a whole number of things that could happen where.
I've got a great story about this. Let me find it.
if the
Go
plane's
ahead.
going down, my seatbelt's not going to
No,
do
no, no. It's
shit.
not an issue going down. It's like if there's just a slight bump, like relatively, forceful, you can go up in the air and hit yourself
I
on
did
the top
hit-
of the plane.
I did hit the ceiling
Or
one
if shit
time.
really happens and the plane's like kind of losing control, not just completely crashing, losing control, you're gonna be rolling around all over the plane, just Chris and doing like somersaults.
Well, then, if the plane's going down, that's what I'm saying. If the plane's going down, I'm dying anyway.
no. Planes go down all the time and they're
he's the
fine.
one guy that gets killed
They
during
recover.
bad weather. Like there's always like one person. It's just the seatbelt guy. It's the guy that refuses to wear a seatbelt.
I'm not.
You'd be
refusing-
surprised how often horrible things happen
There's
while
a
you're
reason
flying
they
and they
let you
recover.
know. There's a reason they get on the intercom saying seatbelts.
Seatbelts.
Well, when they do that, normally that's a signal for the flight attendants to go and check and remind everyone to put their seatbelts on. There was a flight recently, I think it was a flight from Abu Dhabi to Indonesia, that encountered such severe turbulence that it broke overhead bins, spilled everything into the aisle, and 9 people had to go to the hospital. And I've got a few pictures of it. I don't know if we can pull it up. So it's like you can see there's like lids from the bins on there. All the shit there is just spilled out. And
Yeah, they have a whole protocol
Could you
they go
imagine
through.
being on that when all of a sudden your suitcase falls? Like that's
There's a lot worse that's going to happen in that plane than your suitcase falling.
Yeah, but like I've been through like heavy turbulence where you're like you get nervous, you're like but if things are breaking,
right, like
Everyone's-
pieces of the plane are like
Are
falling
falling
down.
off.
Everyone's
Right.
seeing
Yeah.
your sex toys burst out of your suitcase. Yeah. That's a little crazy. This is a slightly unrelated. I don't know we're talking about planes, but like I was told not to get coffee on planes anymore because they never clean the coffee makers. Because the crews there's no incentive for them to come in and be like, I need to clean this coffee maker during my shift.
Yeah.
So they just let it go forever.
The problem I have with it is not necessarily that the coffee machines are dirty, right?
Right.
The real problem is that unless it's bottled, there's really no potable water on a plane.
That's
Like,
right.
You're not supposed to drink the water that comes out that you wash your hands with in
Yeah.
the bathroom. And it's like the same system that feeds the coffee and the tea.
So you're getting shit coffee?
You're not necessarily getting shit coffee. It's just you're not supposed to be
non-potable
drinking
coffee?
it. Yeah.
but they have to. They can't be just giving you shitty coffy. Like that's
They can do
legal.
whatever the hell they want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're in international waters.
yeah, there's chaos in the skies.
Yeah.
yeah. But I was told not, and I haven't been getting coffee on planes because I just
Well, I
I think
won't
about
now.
that. Yeah,
I don't get it just because it makes me need to take a dump, and I don't want to take a dump on the plane.
is
the
that?
worst.
Would you do it if like you were having a really bad time on a plane and you're like, I just need to, like, you guys are going to suffer with me. Like, would you go take a dump on a plane?
You have to if you have to.
I mean, if I have to, I have to. But if I can avoid it, I'll avoid it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out of my way. Like, I know if I drink the coffee, it's going to make me take a dump.
I feel like there's certain places where you should never take a dump. One is a plane.
Very good.
One is a bar. There's no reason to take a dump at a bar. What have you been doing all day that you, all of a sudden it's 1 a.m. You're like, man, yeah, I need to go to the, I need to get this done. Like, there's no fucking. Oh yeah, maybe there's
have a story.
Yeah, there's a funny story about that. But a bar, man, something's another. There's got to be another. No, work. Of course you take it. That's how you get out of doing stuff. Yeah. I took a dump before I came here. Just so I was like, yeah, I'll do that and come on the podcast. No work all day. There's got to be some other place though that's like there's no reason. There should not be a toilet.
Bars are like the worst for me. Like, if I go out to a bar, I become stressed that I might have to take a dump at that bar.
What?
Right? Like, I'm worried. Like, what if something happens and I need to take a dump? Like,
You scope the bar out beforehand.
there
You
is
check
no
this bathroom. Be like, all right.
There is no reason you should ever have to take a dump at a bar.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Right.
There's no reason.
And I'm always worried that something's going to come up and I might have to.
I think
But
there is. a good
I have
reason,
two stories about that, both involving the same person.
though. Yeah.
I had one friend who took a dump. My friend comes out of the bar, or he comes up to me at the bar and he's like, "Hey, you know how you always like see those, like, you go into a toilet, a public toilet, and you're like, who shit on the wall?" Like, you know, you're like, how
Yeah,
did that
right.
happen?
I know who this
You walk
is.
into the toilet, you're like, how did this happen? He was like, I have the answer, and it came out of my ass. He was like,
This is our buddy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, he goes. Wait, you
yeah. So anyway, so he's like, I just really had to take a dump, and like the toilet seat was so nasty, and there was like I didn't know what, like I just had to go, so he just squatted and just like let it loose.
Wait. There's a difference between squatting
Like
and letting it loose so that it ends up on the floor. And there's a difference between squatting and letting it loose so it ends up on a wall. That's like bent over, asshole facing the wall.
I think it was just like he just bent and just like let it go. I went into the toilet.
Why did he?
I went into the toilet afterwards. It looked like a shit man had been slaughtered.
So wait,
like,
was it behind the toilet or above?
It was
did
just like,
did he arc it?
I just imagine you cutting a shit man's jugular, and he's just like, oh.
But it was just, there was shit on the toilet. There was shit on the whatever the front of the toilet is.
His
and on
picture's
the
like a
floor
perfect
and on the-
rainbow
It was
arcing
just like
through the bathroom.
it was. I mean, it was just like a bomb.
I wish that we could find him and ask him to like physically recreate the position he was in.
His palms had to have been on the floor. Like, he had to have been face pitched forward. This is like JFK
That's exactly
or
what I'm
something.
thinking.
Yeah.
It's like the magic shit is what it is. But he had to have been like, bear with me here. This is the toilet. He had to have been
Aaron,
Like that's what I imagined.
yeah.
like that.
I
Maybe?
don't know how he. I mean,
I wish there was a reason why CSI had to go in there and like chart it and be
like Dexter's like like no the splatter marks.
But the same friend, another time we were having this bachelor.
So we were at a bachelor party.
and this friend.
So
I guess
so me and Aaron
Yeah.
drove. It was
to New Orleans.
We went to New Orleans. We drove to New Orleans.
I was almost there the other day.
Yeah, you almost landed.
Everyone
there.
else who didn't drive took a bus.
And on this bus, they had certain. This buddy had certain
Dozens and dozens of
pot cookies, basically.
Yeah.
And he was the only one who really ate them. Like these are
so it was like a 10-hour bus ride.
no, it's like 4 hours. And so
Wait,
no, to New
From
Orleans?
Houston?
yeah, it's like oh no, it's 7 hours or something.
It's long.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Whatever.
But anyway, these apparently, our friends of ours had like a cookie each, and they were out of their minds. Our buddy had 13 cookies, and he was sitting there like this when we got to New Orleans.
And because me and Aaron were like, we just drove and we were
Yeah,
fine.
we drove.
Like, let's
we
go.
came
Let's
in,
go
we're
to
like, yeah,
Bourbon
let's
Street.
go,
Yeah.
you know what? And he was just like, And so we're like, okay, well, maybe we go do something like a little low key first.
But we go to Bourbon Street.
Yeah, we go to Bourbon Street anyway, and we end up at the
What was it? Bachelor party. So we're gonna end up
go
at
to
a
the strip club, right? And so we're at the strip club, and we're at this like kind of off to the side room thing, and as we're
The
sitting,
champagne room.
sort of, it's kind of like a cordon off like VIP area thing, right?
What were you guys doing there?
Just hanging out, and anyway, so we're sitting there, and we see all these people walking.
Well, our friend disappears.
Our friend disappears
for a while.
Cookie guy.
long time
Yeah.
cookie
Yeah.
guy,
13
13
cookie
cookies. And as we're sitting in this section, all these people are walking by, like showing each other their phones and laughing, and they're like pointing at this thing.
Oh,
and
no.
we're like, man, what's going on? What's going on? All these people are walking by in this steady stream looking at these pictures. So I go up to one of them and I was like, hey, what's going on? And they go, you got to go to the bathroom. You got to see this guy.
my God.
And we're like, okay. So as we're walking, we're like, oh man, no. We go into the bathroom. First of all, here's the bathroom. The door's always open, right? And the door faces the main stage. So a stripper can look directly into the bathroom.
They don't have doors on strip. Like
Yeah, they don't-
There's no door on the
They
stall,
don't put
right?
doors on the stalls because people, like, to keep people from doing drugs. It's just like
Right.
not
They don't put doors
hanging
on the
out.
stalls, but also people were keeping the door to the bathroom open because of the spectacle that was in there. And so all of the dancers from the stage, they were just looking in the bathroom and seeing exactly what was going on.
He was just he walked about. He's standing in the bathroom naked.
Completely naked.
Well, not completely naked because he had his shirt pulled up like this.
Yeah, but completely naked from the waist down. And he's sitting on the toilet.
He's standing.
Oh, was he? He was standing in a spraying position again, and just sitting there. And everyone's taking pictures of him as he's trying to go to the bathroom. And they're like, they're laughing and sharing it. And all the dancers are like pausing, like to look. And they're like, everyone's naked, basically looking at him. And like I think even the announcer was getting into it. It's like, don't go in the bathroom. We got a special in there, and all this stuff. And yet again, he was causing bathroom ruckus.
And it's
in
like,
there.
what do you like? I'm going to change his name to protect the innocent. Bartley. Bartley, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm just cooling off, guys. It's hot in here.
I just
How are
need to
those
cool
pictures-
off. What are you guys doing in the stall? And we're like, dude, you're not in a stall. You're in a toilet that's out in the middle of the open.
How did those pictures not end up on Reddit?
I think it's.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
No, he wasn't covered with shit though.
No,
No,
he
not
wasn't.
at that
He was
point, I
just
don't think.
naked.
That's another place you shouldn't shit.
At a strip
At a
club.
strip club.
Because also they got those guys in there like taking the money, and like that's just awkward because he's just waiting outside of the stall door, waiting for you to come out and give him $1.
Do you think like you could be in there and be like, hey man, I'll tip you like $5 if you just make farting sounds with your hands right now while I'm in here. That way it doesn't. You can't hear me. It doesn't sound so bad.
No, it's even you're in the stall and you're like, hey man, I got some money for tip, and you hold it underneath the stall while you're still going to the bathroom and see if he'll take it. Just be like, it's $5. Yeah, but that was our friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be
There was a-
more
that was-
things that
Those
happen.
pictures
That
are
was-
going to come back to haunt him.
But they don't know who it is. That's the thing. It's like he's not, he doesn't have a social following. No one knows who he was. He's just another random drunk guy,
At
whatever, at a strip club.
Another guy naked at a
in
strip
Bourbon
club.
Street,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a non-event for them. Even the DJ was joking about
Yeah,
it. Like
even
you
the
said,
DJ
right?
was like, they didn't even kick us
Typical
out.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Guess what, guys? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
It was a good bachelor party.
That was great. It's fantastic. Chris, no, I won't even go into it. It was. You remember we were going to that strip club, and Chris was so drunk.
That was the next night.
Okay, Chris was so drunk, and he got he got so lost.
No. I don't know what story you're telling. I don't.
All right, well I'll move on.
You're no fun, Chris.
You tell others what stories you.
Now, well, speaking of bars, this is kind of not really changing the subject, but I played the most awesome game this weekend at this nightclub in town called Barbarella's. It was me, Blaine, and Barbara, and we were playing this game where, this is a packed nightclub, right? And we play this game where you have to touch your nose to someone's back without them noticing. And I don't know if there's points or whatever, but like you basically, here, Brandon.
But people you know or random people?
Random people, of course. So you're dancing, you're facing, you're doing it, and I have to do this.
No, I felt that.
No, but I wouldn't do it that hard.
Okay.
But like that's the game. You have to see you're all competing to do that.
Plus, if it's crowded, you might not necessarily.
You wouldn't,
Oh,
because you're
actually,
getting-
yeah, if it's on the dance floor in Barbarella's, absolutely.
You're getting bumped all the time.
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then they started doing it, and I had to do it. And it was so amazing because I got obsessive with it because you touch a few
You have
people's.
you have an unnatural advantage.
That's not fair of you to say. but it's true. I have an unnatural advantage, so I got a little leeway, like you see this thing, and I started touching backs, and I started getting really into it where I didn't care about anything else that was going on. I just started going after people's backs as they were dancing.
How many drinks
funny?
in?
You know what's funny?
were
You know
in?
what's funny?
A lot of
Aaron?
drinks.
Someone texted me because I was out of town this weekend, and they were like, "Are you downtown?" And I was like, "No." It's like, because I just saw a bunch of your friends leaving Barbarella's, and they were so drunk.
Well, yeah, of course, I was touching people's strangers' backs in my nose. But here's what happened. There was this. I was doing the thing, and I tried to get this one guy, but he moved away from me right as my nose went, and he started walking off to. So this bar has a ton of. It's long, it's big, it's a huge place, and so I was like, that guy just got away from me. And by that point, I was so drunk and so obsessive about it that I was like, I got to get him. So I start following him through the bar. And he's walking.
Aaron.
Yeah, I know. It's
the
crazy.
bathroom, and then...
No, he didn't go to the bathroom. He was walking all the way to the back. And the thing is there are a lot of little nooks and crannies in there. So every time he'd slow down to take another turn to get towards the passengers in the back, I'd almost have him, but then he'd keep going. So anyway, he gets to the back. He finally gets to the back. He's looking at his phone and he's like getting a drink or whatever and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, here, I got him. So I go up and I touch him just like that. And he doesn't notice and he's just like that. I was like, yeah. And so as I turn, his buddy, who I guess he was going to meet, saw me and just looked at me. He didn't even say anything. He didn't go, what was that? Or anything.
Did it look like you were smelling him?
No, it didn't look as normal as smelling someone. It looked like I touched him with my nose. And then the guy who I touched turns around and sees his friend staring at me, and we were just all kind of looking at each other, and I go, thanks. And I walk off and I go away. Like, that was my Saturday night. And yes, I was
my
drunk.
God. That's awful.
It's an amazing game. You will hate it. You do hate it because the thought of...
everything about this sounds
everything
terrible.
about
It
the game
sounds like
is
a nightmare.
But it's so fulfilling.
And then you have to take a dump.
Yeah.
The toilet seat was dirty.
Yeah.
Aaron, if you get addicted to this, you're going to develop some kind of reputation as like the phantom.
I'm the nose
poker.
guy.
Yeah.
I'm the nose
You're
guy.
already...
I'm already the nose guy. But for different reasons.
Then you'll just be like one of those bit of like weird news trivia. Like,
Yeah.
man in Austin, Texas was arrested for assaulting 25 people by
A
touching
man
his
who's
nose.
claimed to have touched 200,000 people's backs with his nose was arrested.
I read a really weird news story. So what's that one drug?
Meth.
No. It's that you take to not take a dump. Imodium.
Imodium?
Imodium.
Yeah.
Apparently,
It's
if you take
antibacterial.
like 100 Imodium or something, you can get people are getting high off of it.
What?
That's what I said. It's apparently someone experimented. I don't know why you would experiment. I don't know who's the guy who's like, you know what? I'm going to take 100 of these and see what happens. Like, maybe I'll get.
He's going out on a date. He's like, I really don't want to shit at the bar or in the airplane.
But
It was like someone with really bad diarrhea. Like, if 2 stop normal diarrhea, 100 will stop what I got.
I've been shitting water. That's all.
But no, apparently that's a thing now where it's like you take a bunch of Imodium and like
It's got to be with kids.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's always like high school.
Yeah, it's always-
like,
it's-
I can buy Imodium. I can buy as much as I want.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's bad for you because it's like
Well, no shit. No shit.
but yeah, that's a
like,
thing.
do they get like really stopped up, and are they not able to shit after
I have
that?
no idea.
I wish it was the reverse. I wish it was they found the laxatives, just make them super high, and it's just like a trade-off.
You just shit your pants and get stoned. Like, well, what is the? I can't imagine what the high is from
So
that.
okay, I'm reading up on this, and I don't know whether to believe this or not.
Okay.
So I guess people are using it to self-treat addiction to painkillers.
What?
How's that?
Because apparently some people can do self-treatment for withdrawal symptoms, like for opioid addiction.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what they're trying to do.
Well,
No, but what?
the thing is with like opioids and stuff like that. Like I've known people who've been addicted to that. You get constipated from that.
Right.
Right?
Opioids like slow all of that system
Slow all
down.
that stuff down.
Yeah.
So if you're also taking Imodium, are you just building a dam inside of your colon that's eventually going to rupture, or what?
Well, how long? But how long would it last? Like,
I don't know. I mean, are you asking how long the high lasts or how
No,
long they don't
the,
shit?
like-
Because
It's got to be a long time. Either one of them. So basically, I imagine the same people who are taking 100 Imodium to get high are also the ones shoving tampons of vodka up their ass. So like maybe they're winning somehow because they're high from not shitting, and that because they're not shitting, they can put the tampon up their ass and get drunk. And like maybe they got there's a whole system of getting messed up that we were never a part of because we're just not in that generation.
So what are the health risks of taking this?
See, now this is a future addict that you just got.
No, not for the high. I'm just saying, I don't, if
I mean,
The health risks, so it has serious side effects, including breathing and heart problems and even death.
Oh.
So nothing abnormal from any other drug.
So I'm not crazy about, not crazy about bowel movements. So if this is an okay,
You may not be
solution-
You
crazy
still
about
have
it.
to have them.
But man, if you
Yeah, but
don't
not as
have
often.
one, you're gonna be.
you can always
loving
get
them.
that thing where they come out of your stomach.
Oh,
God,
Go on.
no, it's just-
Yeah, you
Whatever
know,
the thing is, yeah,
the bag,
the
the
tap.
baggie, the
a
baggie.
colonoscopy bag.
yeah,
Yeah.
the tap.
If you don't
that-
like dumps, you could always do that.
no, that's worse.
sounds way worse.
That's way worse.
I don't think anybody would prefer that.
Going out on a date and you're just like, oh, hold on 1 second, I gotta.
Yeah, that's not preferable in any way. What is it? So like I keep mentioning, I was out of town. What is it about coming home and like taking a dump on your own toilet? That's just like the greatest thing in the world.
Oh
Like,
king.
God.
while I was out of town, I was like, I kept having unsatisfactory dumps, and then I came home and I was like immediately like, oh yeah.
Because you feel like a prisoner anywhere else. I don't know. There's something about it where you feel rushed.
You can spend a half hour in that bathroom at
Yeah.
home.
Plus, also, I don't know. I feel like other toilets have weird things about them. Like
You don't know other
Right,
toilets.
there's like one hotel room I stayed in. It was like I kept hitting my arm on the seat, like
Yeah.
as I'm sitting
Or
there.
you
like,
hit your balls on the bottom of the thing, the
Don't wanna do
porcelain.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want that.
I took a dump at the airport that was like, so I traveled with our friend Zach Anner, who's in a wheelchair, and when you have someone in a wheelchair, they board the plane first and do all that before anyone else boards because it's like it's a little more time consuming, whatever. We were traveling and because of our schedule, it was impossible for us to get to the airport early. So we're gunning it to the airport. We get there and we're like right as they're boarding. But I have to go to the bathroom. And so they're like, oh, but we need to board him now. And I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. And then it was one of those things where because of that, I made like everyone late.
Oh,
because then I
wow.
had then we had to board the wheelchair like after like in the middle of everyone else getting on the plane. And it
So
was-
were you rushed?
Oh yeah, of course, because I knew I was holding up the entire
Wait,
flight.
couldn't you have helped Zach onto the plane and then taken a dump on the plane, like while it's still parked there and people are boarding?
I had to go to the bathroom.
He didn't take 100 Imodium or whatever.
I hadn't gotten.
I'm
high
sure
on it.
the people at the airline made that suggestion. And
Oh.
Chris was
They just
no,
go,
like,
"Are you gonna be quick?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be quick."
The people on
We're
the
like, I'm already halfway done right now.
The people on the airline should have the option of when you board back on the plane, like if you've caused a delay, they should be able to say like, this guy's taking a dump in the airport. Sorry we're late, but he apparently couldn't hold
They
it.
should have a dump hat that they make you wear. It's like the poop emoji, and you have to put it on your head, and everyone knows like it's that guy's
It's just a
fault.
pile on top of your head. Yeah.
So you've not gotten on the squatty potty train?
No.
I
Is
think
it
we
a
talked
train?
about. Was this just we talked about it on the Off Topic podcast?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Why?
I'm setting my ways.
Just try it once. Just experiment.
I'm not that kind of guy, Brendan.
In a weird way, I don't like that other people's feet touch it. I don't know. I
But
know
they're
it
already
sounds
touching the
strange.
floor,
I
yeah.
know they're
But
already.
you have
but-
shoes on.
Yeah, but I don't like.
And like for your house.
It might just
I mean,
be like a mounting thing.
Yeah,
when you
I
have to
don't-
mount something.
Well, you got to mount it, but I don't like the thought of other people. Like I can imagine the position they were in when I get into that
But just
position.
because you're at home, have you tried it?
Yeah, I have, and I just
Is it better?
Oh yeah.
it just
It'll
feels
change
like
your life.
evacuation. It just goes.
Yeah.
You know what's?
It's like you gotta
know what's
get a hat
kinda
and hold
funny
on to it because it's gonna.
Is
What?
Go for it.
when
Chris.
I was like a kid, right? You know, like
So 2 years ago.
no, like when you're like transitioning to like
3
going
years
from
ago.
the diaper to like using a toilet.
6.
You
For whatever
remember that?
reason, when I was like 4 or 3 or however old I was when I was potty trained, that was, I that's how it. I used to sit on the toilet like that when I was like 4, like this. like,
Didn't you say
Wait,
this
you
one time?
put your feet on the toilet?
yeah, when I was like 4.
You wouldn't
this is
slip
how I would
in?
take a dump, like this.
You
And then
perched?
I perched.
Why
And
the
I-
hell would you do that?
I don't know,
Where'd
man.
you learn that?
I guess I didn't. And then at some point, I was like on the toilet like this, and my mom or dad was like, "You should sit on the toilet, not like perch on it like an eagle."
Like an idiot.
But it was like,
seeing perch like an eagle makes me want to try the squatty potty. You should. Now I'm more inclined to try it.
but
just do this.
I guess
Look
what
at
I'm
it.
saying is, for whatever reason, when I was 3 or 4, this felt most natural.
Well, because
Because you're a
that's-
stupid baby.
Yeah, you stupid baby.
No, that's how people are meant to do it.
that's how-
That's why the potty thing.
No, that's how
why it's marketed.
cats
That's why it
shit
works
on a toilet. That's how cats
But
shit.
that's normal apparently because cats.
Cats have 4 legs.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, see? yeah.
I'm just saying is I do think there's some like validation.
You have my back on this one, Chris.
We've had the toilet for 200 years now? 150 years?
Sure.
Yeah. I can say that we don't need to go back to shitting in the woods posture. I think we're fine how we are, you know.
Have you seen the shitting unicorn video?
No.
Oh, you need to see the shitting unicorn video. It'll change your perspective.
Does he use a squatty potty like an idiot or perch on this goddamn
Look,
chair?
use a squatty potty.
We've
It shows
showed this on the podcast before. There's no need to show that video again.
Good.
We've moved beyond that.
Apparently
We
not.
can watch it later.
Yeah, I'll watch it later
you
with
can,
you.
You can hold hands while you watch it. But it does make me think about, like, you know, we have all these advances in technology, and what if there's just like a very basic thing that we've had wrong for a long time? Like, what if our posture is wrong sitting on the toilet? Now we haven't realized it for all of this time.
and it's what's causing like skin cancer. Or
Weird
something.
problem. Or
Yeah,
like-
it's like
Or what
this is
if-
exactly what's in the unicorn video.
or what
It can lead to.
Brandon, we're not going to fucking watch the video.
I'm not saying.
Or what if it's like,
saying it
oh, we
already
didn't
happened.
realize that carbonating water is really bad for you.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just like some fundamental, like really basic thing.
I always
Kind of
said
like
it was like,
cigarette smoke and stuff, and how that evolved.
I feel like that's one of those things that you knew.
yeah, they always knew cigarettes were not. I mean, even in the 100 years ago, they knew like smoking couldn't possibly be good for you, but they just marketing wins with enough money, like of course. But I always thought like 50 years from now or whenever they're gonna be like, I can't believe people use the same toothbrush every day.
Oh,
I cannot believe how disgusting, how awful, and like. We do it. Like, even if you have a fancy toothbrush or something that's self-clean, you're still using the same brush every day. People are going to be like, I can't believe they weren't using the laser beam stuff.
I think
that-
I've seen studies before that show, if you keep your toothbrush out, like in your bathroom, that flushing a toilet ejects so much particulate into the air.
Did you read that a
that
study,
it just
or
like constantly is coating.
do you remember
everything in
Gavin
it.
saying that?
It was a study.
Okay.
Did Gavin say that?
Yeah, Gavin.
Oh, okay.
Mine's
I read
right
that.
above my toilet.
Yeah,
It's like within flushing distance.
It's covered in shit.
Oh.
So does that mean the walls are just covered
Yeah.
in everything is covered?
Yeah. Pretty much everything in your bathroom. So
Dude, there's a
close
lot of
the lid
stuff.
on
What
your
about
toilet
your
when you
towel?
flush.
What about your towel?
Yes.
Dude, there's a lot
Is
of
it in your
stuff.
bathroom? It's covered.
what
in
do
shit.
you-
Dude,
you
there's
close the lid
To flush.
when you flush. It helps.
There's a lot of stuff in life that's covered in poop. I hate to break it to you.
This has been a shitty podcast.
Yeah, I need to find a segue to talk about our next sponsor, and we just haven't hit it.
I'll say one more thing about my personal toilet. Every, I think, 5th or 6th flush, some sort of air thing happens to where it launches water out of it, like 5 feet. It doesn't happen every time. It probably happens 20% of the time. But when it does, it gets high enough that it'll hit you in the face. And ask Barbara. She's been there. She's been victim. But like, you can't control it. And I try and keep the lid down and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you don't think about it. Sometimes you're on the toilet when it happens. And it just...
It's like a free bidet.
But it's not the kind of bidet you want. It's like a soiled bidet sometimes. Well, think about like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like, it's just a completely random thing. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to fix that.
You
It's
call
just,
your landlord and be like, yeah.
my landlord is so awful. He will not fix it. First of all, he won't believe me. And second of all, he won't drive from Houston to fix it. So I'm stuck with this random like Russian roulette toilet that every now and then hits me in the fucking eye with toilet water. Segue.
I have an update. I asked Esther about this time we hung out, and she says definitively, vaguely, yes.
Ask
All
Esther.
periods, no exclamation points.
Ask her what,
vaguely
what
yes.
I had for my sides
No,
on our
I'm not
lovely
gonna do
dinner.
that. It's gonna
And
make
I bet
me-
she know. I bet she not only gets them right. I bet she knows whether I use butter on the broccoli or on the potatoes. I know the answer, but I won't say it. In
Well,
case she's
because
watching.
who puts butter on broccoli?
Everybody.
Is that a
And
thing? I don't
cheese.
cook. I don't cook. I don't know. What
I
I'm
know you
talking
don't.
about.
Everything you eat comes from a freezer. You use a microwave on everything. You remember you yelled at me for so long for not having a microwave?
Yeah.
And you're like, how can you not have a microwave? How do you eat anything? I was like, I just cook it. And you're like, but like, what do you do like when breakfast or dinner or whatever? I'm like, I cook. And you're like, yeah, but where do you make your microwave dinners? And I was like, what are you talking about, man?
I am not a fan of microwaves. I hate using.
That's
the
another
microwave.
one of those things in
Yeah.
50 years when they're like, I
don't-
can't believe they stood in
tru-
front of the microwave.
I don't trust it. I hate turning my microwave on. It's like I will do anything in the world I can to not use my microwave.
Why are you afraid that it's gonna?
I just don't trust it. I don't think it's like a natural thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
My friend in 5th grade.
Even popcorn. Like I don't do microwave popcorn. Like I have an air popper.
Oh, that's cool.
Just for that. Like I'm not turning that thing on.
My friend convinced me that you have to wait 3 seconds after it finishes cooking before you open it. So otherwise you'll get radiation poisoning. Yeah, so for like a good 3 years of my life, every time it would beep, and then I'd wait 3 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then I'd open it.
Do you still do it though, even though you know it's not
because
logical?
I don't
but it's
anymore.
Just kind of one of those things. you're
Because
just like well,
enough
maybe.
people are like, "What the fuck are you doing? Open!" They're waiting in line to use a microwave, or and I'm just.
Where are you using a microwave that there's a line for it?
Probably work or something.
Yeah, anytime. People.
People are waiting outside the bathroom door because he's perched on it like an idiot. And
He's getting his microwave popcorn out, count to 3 Mississippi.
I would also preach it too. I think that was part of it. I'd be like, I would be like,
spreading the
you need to
gospel.
wait 3 seconds before you open the microwave. I'm like, what are you talking?
did your parents ever tell you like weird kind of things like that to get you to mold your behavior? They told you a lie. I mean, that happens all the time, but like oddly specific ones. Like my parents told me every time you flick on a light switch, it costs 19 cents. They said every time it goes up, it costs 19 cents. So, Aaron, whenever you do that with the lights and you think you're being funny, every time you did that, it was 19 cents. You cost us $15 when you did that. And I was like, and I thought that till I was probably 17. Like I tell people, just like you, I'd be like, every time you flick up that switch, it's 19 cents, not including all the power you're using. And people were like, this guy's fucking crazy. And then they were just, but no one told me. And then I figured it out on my own. But
I think that's true with like bigger lights, like studio lights. Like
It might be.
You were flicking the studio lights
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
living
I'm
room
just
area?
saying,
It was 19 cents every time.
You're ruining the grid,
idea
Aaron.
of that. Could
I
be
know
true
my
in certain
parents
situations.
told me that paper towels were expensive, so I wouldn't use paper towels.
What would you
For-
use? What does
No-
that mean?
his hand.
I don't know. I guess I'd use napkins instead.
What's the difference?
I don't know. In my head, my parents are like, "Don't waste paper towels; those are expensive." And then in my head, I was like, "These are really expensive." Like,
Why do people? What kind of house did you grow up in that had paper towels and napkins? Did anybody else grow up in a house like this? The house I grew up in was just paper towels.
my mom-
Who the fuck?
my
Also
mom was
bought
really weird
napkins.
about like having everything like decorative and like, oh well, these are napkins that we have this, and then paper towels over here, and these are the fancy napkins.
These are the
where we have
birthday
guests.
napkins.
She was just really weird about that. So at one point, someone said, "Don't waste paper towels; they're expensive."
Do you
So
have
then-
dishes that you've never used? They were like dining room dishes for when we have.
She had the fancy dishes that would be like, oh, we don't use these dishes. I'm like, well, why not? And
Yeah.
she's like, well, those are only for guests. I'm like, what is
We've
that?
never
You're not
had
good
guests.
Like, Mom, I got to microwave this thing. I need a dish.
Man, I had the the funniest text from my mom ever. I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
All right, give me a second.
All right.
All right, here. Let me read this while
Yeah.
you look that up. I want to remind everyone this episode of the podcast is also brought to you by. What's your thing?
Okay, so context for this: I recently had a death in my family, and then my mom texted me this randomly. No context, just did you take a shower with a guy in a video?
It's a good start.
And I knew what she was talking about on my personal YouTube thing. I did a stupid like video of how to take a shower, and there was a bit in there where I'm like, and if there are those hard to reach places, you might need help, and then someone pops into frame behind me as if we were taking a shower. Yeah,
Yeah.
as if it's just a stupid joke. And so I was like, not actually pretend, Mom. That's what movies are. That was my response to her. And then these are all other relatives that I'm listing. She said, this is what I assumed, but Justin was a little confused. Said Mindy's Josh told him about it, and there was some speculation as to the authenticity of the video.
Oh my god.
He asked me if you liked girls. I don't want to be.
Oh no.
I don't. I don't want to be the last to know if there was something to know about my children.
Oh.
Would you be a pallbearer?
Whoa.
One text.
Now that they cleared that, gotten that situation taken care of.
And then it wasn't in the category of porn, was it?
Oh, that's
So,
fantastic.
My mom asked me if I was gay, if I would be a pallbearer for the death of my family, and if I had done porn. And
I like her. She's like, of course it's not. But
and I was like,
it?
no, it was a comedy video, Mom. She goes, is that a no to the pallbearer?
That's so great.
Aren't you glad I stopped you from putting out that one RT Life video?
Yeah.
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 You should leave that hanging out there?
Yes, we are.
Oh, my
It's up to
God.
Chris.
He said we're to leave it hanging out there.
But it's one of those things too where it's like, I remember in high school, my mom came up to me at one point and she was like, I just want to, she asked me if I was gay, and I was like, no. And she's like, it's okay if you are. I don't care. I love you anyway, but I just want to know. It's like, why do you think I'm gay? It's like, you never bring girls around. It's like, yeah, because I'm
protecting them from you.
Yeah. It's like, if I'm going to hang out with a girl, I'm not going to bring her home to where like I shared a room with my little brother. I'm going to that's not a good. Yeah.
My brother Lynn, I never brought women around either, to family things, and the family started asking him like, is Aaron, is he and I thought it was so funny that they wouldn't even say it. They were just like, and Lynn was like, yeah, he is. He absolutely is. And he has been for a while. He's scared to tell you guys. And I hadn't gone to like a family thing in like a year or two or something like that. And so every time they kept asking, like, they'd ask Lynn, like, well, has Aaron found someone yet or whatever? And like, no, he hasn't. He's looking for the right guy, and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, all right, well, whatever. So fast forward a couple years, I show up for a Thanksgiving, and they're like, Aaron, so you met anybody lately? And I was like, I mean, no, not really. I mean, I've been really busy, and I haven't been dating much. So they're like,
Busy with my roommate.
Yeah, they're like, where do you like to go to meet people? And I was like, I mean, you go to bars, you go to libraries, and or whatever. And they're like, well, you go to any kind of like, I don't know, special bars? And I was like, yeah, sometimes I go to theme nights or whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, so theme nights. All right, well, do you go to, like cowboy type things? Or maybe, maybe it's a village people thing. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'd go to that. That sounds awesome, And they're just, I never knew. And it went like, it was a couple, it was probably Thanksgiving and Christmas that I had no idea that they were thinking that. And then when I found out, like, I was like, man, should I just keep it going or what? Because I don't care, either way. And I was like, man, maybe I should. And then I don't think I ever cleared it up. But yeah, that's my great brother there. It's really funny.
So brothers are for.
That's what he's for. Yeah, absolutely. I just thought it was so good.
That's what I like about Lynn is he will instantly validate any question.
He jumps on
Anytime someone asks him something, is this happen? He'll yeah.
Yeah, without hesitation. So my brother does streaming with, some people might know him. He streams with John
Right.
quite often or whatever. And yeah, man, he commits to a bit, unlike anyone I've ever seen, to where like you will get lost in the truth so quickly, and he just loves it. I wish I could think of it. You may know an example.
Well, like that time, I think we told this story in a podcast wherever your landlord was trying to show your apartment.
right. And he said I was in...
and they're like, we couldn't get a hold of Aaron, and you were listed the emergency number. What happened to Aaron? He was like, oh yeah, he's in jail.
Yeah, he's in prison. Sorry. Yeah. And they thought that, and they started moving on getting rid of my apartment. Like they started busting into it's always stuff like that where like I can't. And the thing is I can't leave. Well, and now Blaine's roped into this because Blaine was recently out of town, and he said, Aaron, I'm gonna be out of town for a little bit. Make sure Lynn doesn't break into my apartment. And I said, dude, I can't promise that. I mean, he might. Like, it depends if he's bored or not. If he's bored, then your apartment might as well just leave the door open.
You got to print out like a picture of his face with the international no symbol over it. Like, leave it on
No,
the
it's
door.
funny too because when you were gone during South by Southwest, and I was like, hey, because we had a friend coming into town to visit, and I was like, hey, and he was asking to crash at my place. I was like, Aaron's out of town. Why don't we just? I was like, texted Aaron. I was like, hey, can so and so crash at your place? He's like, no, I don't have the key with me, but Lynn can open it.
Yeah, Lynn can open it.
He can break into it.
Yeah, Lynn has all the lock picking stuff and all that stuff. Like he can get into anything. It's scary. So we got locked out of the YMCA. Like we were, going to the gym or something like that. And he locked his keys in his car. He went to the YMCA and he got, what did he get? He got maybe a coat hanger or something. And within 5 minutes, he broke into his own cop car. Like, I mean, he's not a cop, but he owns a cop car, and he broke into it immediately without even thinking. He's like, all right, let's go home. And I was like, you're out of line. Also, everyone thinks he's my older brother. He's my younger brother, just so you know.
Oh, I thought it was over.
Yeah, right.
Locks are interesting to me. Like I can see why someone would get into, wanting to break into
They're
them. Because
fascinating.
It's like, you trust so much of your shit. People trust all of their shit to be like secured by a lock. And you think about it, it's like, again, it's like this old technology that really fundamentally hasn't changed in maybe 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And on cars, maybe it's a little different the way the locking mechanisms work. But it's like, if you just learn, one or two things about them, then there's nothing stopping you from opening anything.
Of just going in. That's why locksmiths have to be bonded and all that stuff, because they have the info to get into anything.
Right, like there was, I'm almost like hesitant to talk about it, but there was a craze for a while when people discovered bump keys. I don't know if you remember that, 5 years ago or so, which is like a key with basically it's kind of like loose teeth. And you put it in a lock, and you just kind of like shake it or knock on it a few times, and then it like falls into place with the tumblers, and you can open.
It's the fundamentals of a lock picking kit is having that different size bump keys. And
right,
stuff
it's like that you just like knock on it a few times and keep twisting it, and then eventually it's like the tumblers fall right into place, and you can open up almost any lock. So like that was like, oh, now you got to get a lock that doesn't respond to bump keys, and then it's like, well, there's always something else, and then at the very base, there's just like kicking a door.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like busting a door down.
Yeah, you think about where the latch connects to the door frame, and typically those screws are like 1/8 of an inch. Or
the
maybe
screws and even the
inch.
latch is a half an inch or maybe an inch in.
Yeah, you
it's
just
nothing.
hit it with enough force, it's going to break.
Yeah.
And even the door jamb could just like smash through too.
Right. It's like
it's
you have, or even worse, it's like someone just takes a rock and smashes your window.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
that's it. It's like there's I've got a great lock and all this. Like you still got windows.
No.
Like there's still it's like so many ways to get into.
Or they
stuff.
slit your convertible top. They just cut it with a razor blade. Like
We've all been there.
Yeah. Or a motorcycle. They could just jump on your motorcycle and take off with it. I can't leave. I was parking my motorcycle out front, and then this guy got it stolen. He's like, yeah, all they could do is put a screwdriver in it and turn it, and then they drive off. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, or they just load it in the back of a truck and leave. And I was like, what? And so I started parking it in the garage. But like,
Well, you're gonna die anyway before it gets stolen.
that's not every time the motorcycle comes up, people. Here's what the equivalent
Because
is.
someone died like 2 weeks ago in Austin, and
yeah,
then
but-
2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone died from a heart attack.
Right.
More frequently than that. Or they're like, there's
Yeah,
other things
but
you gotta worry about too.
that's
Riding
more a
motorcycles is a
natural
choice.
Yeah, that's a
Eating
natural.
hamburgers every day is a choice too.
It's not the same.
Telling people you got a motorcycle is like going, hey, Brand, I just bought 2 cartons of cigarettes. I think I'm just going to smoke them all tonight. It's going to be great. And you're just like, it's that face. It's like, Aaron, you know about cigarettes. Yeah, I know about cigarettes. I know about motorcycles, and it's fun. Barbara was not on the motorcycle the other day, in case the Dunkelmans are watching. But if she had been, she would have had fun on it in the parking lot.
I'd go on
That's
it.
all I'll say about that.
I wouldn't even wait
I'll
for a
drive it
sidecar.
in a parking lot.
No, Chris, you cannot drive the motorcycle.
No.
The way you drive, you are guaranteed to die immediately on the motorcycle. There will be no grace period for you. It will be like you'll get on the motorcycle and be like, this is fun. And it's just in a flash. And you know who they turn to when that happens? Me. They go, Aaron, what? You knew he could. You know what he thought
I'd
about
be
microwaves
fine.
and
I'd be
perching on
fine. I'd be
toilets.
fine.
Like,
No, you'd end up in a ditch.
you'd end up in a ditch.
yeah.
Or in a fence. And then
Or a
I get
fence
in
ditch.
trouble. Yeah. I can't. I
I'd be
can't.
fine.
You could ride a Vespa. And you seem at home on a Vespa.
Did you ever try riding the motorcycles we used in immersion?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
pretty well.
I did okay.
Yeah.
Those are literally like a foot tall. They were like this high, and there were no power. My thing has the power of like a Honda, and it weighs a
Same,
Power of a Honda.
Well, I don't know what
Yeah,
that means.
What does that mean?
well, it's got the horsepower of like a Honda car.
Okay.
but it weighs.
Well, Hondas make motorcycles too. That's why it's confusing.
Oh, say a Honda Civic or
Okay,
something,
okay.
an old Honda Civic.
Oh,
It's
that's
got
you're
the-
talking about. You had a Honda motorcycle.
No, I have a
Yeah,
Kawasaki.
that's
what I
really
was-
confusing.
Yeah, that's what I was
Sorry,
saying.
Is there a
I'm getting
motorcycle
my things
company?
mixed
Right,
up.
right.
But anyway, the
That
bike
made
only
cars.
weighs 350 pounds. So, and a car weighs 10 times that. So you do that, and it's really fast.
It's math.
I feel like
It's
this
math.
is Aaron trying to describe his penis or something.
Listen,
it's like
it's really great, and it's really blue. It's blue
It's got the
and
power of a
fast.
Honda Civic.
it's like no. Look
And
at
Chris, if you get on it, you're going to wreck.
I know it's only it's only this big, but the power it's got the power of a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
but it's only this big.
And I can't leave it out, or it'll get stolen. Just
Do you
like
take up an
penis.
entire parking space when you go out?
Yes,
You motherfucker.
of course, because I need my space. But
Damn it.
But it's nice, and I don't have to pay for parking downtown or anything. There's just the elevated risk of, injuring myself on roadways.
Oh, so is there just parking anywhere for you? You can just squeeze your motorcycle in anywhere downtown?
Yeah, absolutely. I can
that's
park
awesome.
inside buildings, just ride up, go in the hallways, and just. I was thinking about riding it to set when I was on day 5. I was thinking about riding it to set, like showing up kind of late and just driving right into the middle of the set and being like, "What are we filming?" and getting off. And like, I wish we had bullhorns. We didn't have bullhorns, but that would have been such a Michael Bay move. That would have been cool.
Dude, that's awesome. Because we lost Uber and Lyft, I walked downtown Saturday because I was like, I have no other option here. And it was like 35 minutes. And then
That's
it's
so
just
awful.
35 minutes to get downtown, and another 15. Then we went to the bar and for Blaine's birthday, and then immediately got there like, all right, guys, we're going 10 blocks down to Barbarella's. And I was like, motherfucker.
So you were talking about cars. It made me want to think about something that I wanted to bring up this week on the podcast, which is I saw an auction online for. Are you looking for a new car? I found a car for you. If you are,
I wasn't, but tell
it's
me.
a 1983 Rolls Royce. It was custom built into a station wagon, and it was modified to run on propane instead of gasoline.
What?
The only catch is
Oh my
that
God.
it's in Germany, and it's going up for auction, and they're expecting it to sell for about $29,000.
That's so cool.
What?
Which you could own a custom-built Rolls Royce.
Look at
But
that!
how do you-
Look at that two-tone, pea green and green.
So do you get one of those tanks
Who
like at the
custom-
supermarket
who
and just
custom
throw it in
built
there?
A Rolls.
Well, it was like a customer ordered it because the story is, and I don't know how true it is. The story is, look at you'd have the Rolls Royce thing.
the Rolls
The story
Royce
is
logo.
that he wanted a Rolls Royce to tow his race car.
That is so awesome. That's such a British.
I have no
thing, too.
idea why
Oh.
it's modified to run on propane, but there it is. Look at it, it's in good shape.
Yeah, that's
You'd
awesome.
have a Rolls Royce for
Yeah, and as soon
$29,000.
as it needs an oil change, you go and it's
No, as
$5,000.
soon as you have it, you have to spend another 30 grand on it.
Yeah.
Easy. Just because there'll be some vacuum hose that just explodes. You won't know why. And because it was custom built, right? You said?
Yeah.
Gus? Rolls Royces are already custom built. And to have it custom built on custom built by, who was building at the time? British something.
British, yeah.
Whatever. That thing is going to just blow up.
Yeah.
It looks cool, and I would totally
It
have it.
doesn't even look cool.
No, that's kind of cool.
People would
It's
look.
cool.
You'd be like, "Hey, you want to ride my Rolls Royce?"
It's such a, you put a waterbed in the back, and
you go out like to LA, like, which car is yours? The Rolls Royce.
what behind the station wagon? You're like,
It
it
is
is a station wagon. Yeah,
It's not a station wagon. It's a Rolls Royce.
it's a banging wagon.
Sir, just give us your number.
Yeah,
Go.
no, that is an awesome
I would
car.
I would love to drive that car, to
Yeah.
own that car. I'm sure you can't import it. I'm sure it's like, oh,
Why not? Why not? I think you could.
There's always like weird laws about importing cars, and
Yeah.
But if it's older than something like 25 years old or something, a lot of those laws don't apply.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's exempt, but you're still going to have to hire a company to do it, and
Yeah, you
it'll be
gotta
12
hire-
grand.
Yeah.
I
No,
had
yeah.
I went through all this bullshit trying to import a Toyota, but yeah, so
really rare car.
no, it's not. So they
Toyota-
should have let me import
a Toyota
Sorry.
station wagon. You
I called Toyota US. They told me call Toyota Canada. I told Toyota Canada. They told me to call Toyota Mexico. Toyota Mexico told me to call Toyota.
Such an interesting story, Brandon. Go on.
I'm just angry. I don't want to go into it because it's fucking boring custom shit, but it just makes me so angry how everybody is throwing me to another place. All right, I'm sorry. I'm done.
It's called the government, man.
If it's so hard, so I remember, you talk about how hard it is to import a Toyota. I think I read a story a few months ago about how governments were starting to wonder why it is that ISIS has so many Toyota trucks.
Yeah.
And
every one of them's a Toyota truck.
Right. So like people were starting to question, how are they getting so many Toyotas and why is it always a Toyota truck that they have?
Well, I'd read too that they'd gone to Toyota and been like, why is this Toyota? They're like, I don't know. Why is it? Like, we'll help you out with whatever you need. It's not like we're supplying ISIS. That's a little on the nose, isn't it?
You know why? Because it's so fucking hard to import a Toyota into the United States. They have to go somewhere.
No, so it was
spit 'em out
October
to ISIS.
2015. It's a story here on ABC News on their website. It says, U.S. counterterror officials have asked Toyota, the world's second largest automaker, to help them determine how ISIS has managed to acquire the large number of Toyota pickup trucks and SUVs seen prominently in the terror group's propaganda videos in Iraq, Syria, Libya.
Well, it's those Tundra commercials. They're filmed in the mountains.
I just
What if
think-
it's just an opposing like car company just giving them Toyotas?
That would be genius.
As like negative propaganda.
But the thing is, it's kind of an endorsement because they run through everything. It's like,
Out in the desert.
IED in the desert, hit by NATO forces, Toyota's there, and we'll keep you running. It's like, I'm going to get a Toyota. Look at that guy, right? He's got an AK-47 Toyota. That's
You
awesome.
see what they did? They mounted anti-aircraft
they
guns
put
to the back of it.
You ever see when they... Yes, exactly. You ever see when they shoot those anti-aircraft guns from the Toyotas? Oh, man, the whole truck, lurches back. It just makes sense, though. If they're shooting AK-47s and, stuff like time-tested stuff
Same
like
reason
that,
people like Humvees because they're
Right.
like, hey, yeah, this.
they're just going to
something
keep
like this
going.
goes.
They're going to keep going. It's like, Top Gear always did that stuff with the Toyota Hilux, which is the Toyota truck. They drop it off buildings. They, take it volcanoes, whatever, blah, blah. It just keeps running. And if you're fighting, an international war, you gotta have something that's dependable.
What did the Libyans have in Back to the Future?
They had a van, but it was
Oh,
like
it was
a
a big van.
It might have been a Toyota van, or was it a Volkswagen van?
Libyan.
Yeah, but they were in.
Yeah, it made me want to get a van.
They
I
were
was
totally
like-
in a car that they would not be in.
It was a Volkswagen.
Is it Volkswagen? Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
one of those-
Volkswagen or a Toyota.
Yeah, the two-tone blue and white.
Yeah, that's so funny you remembered that. But yeah, that'd be funny if they were all in those vans though, like Back to the Future.
Yeah, no, it made it look good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looked great.
If you were Libyan, you had to represent.
You had a Volkswagen.
I was thinking about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You hold that thought. I got one more thing to read here. I want to remind everyone that this episode of the podcast is also brought to you by I traveled overseas with this razor because I like it so much to shave up or clean up my beard. And
What's
keep
your
myself
current?
looking
What's
good.
your current facial?
I gotta like shave all in here.
Oh yeah.
I gotta shave all in here.
No, but is this the current design layout you're going with?
Yeah, that's why it's on my face. what kind of question is that?
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, did you transition to this, or have you been doing this for a while?
I mean, it's only been like 9 years.
No, every now and then you do something different.
No, every now and then I used to shave it, but that's been like two or 3 years since I've done that.
Well, it's been
You
like 2 or
should get
3
the
years since we
mustache
hung out,
back.
man. That's what I don't.
Has it been 5 years or 2 or 3 years?
I don't know when
I
that
bet
was.
it's longer than 5
3-4
years.
probably.
It's been longer
Are
than
you-
2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've
I
ever
moved like 2 years ago.
I've never
Oh, yeah,
questioned
that's
your
right.
facial hair.
Right. It's
I do from
is.
time to time. I just don't tell you about
There was
it.
that one short where you happened to shave the day we were doing pickups and we put mascara on your
Oh, that was an episode of Immersion. That was
No,
That was
it was,
that reunion short.
Yeah, because I think we had to film.
Oh, right.
We had to
And-
film a scene that wasn't in the.
We filmed the
we had to film a scene that was for the web version only.
That might have been like the last time that I fully shaved
and
everything.
you're like,
off.
yeah, because I don't want
I'm not getting mascara all over my face again. Nobody noticed.
they'll notice now.
Yeah, they notice now. I notice now when I look at it. I'm like, oh my
That's
God.
all I can look at is
Yeah,
your facial.
I'm just
hair.
like,
It's only
that's
one
so
shot, right?
bad.
no, it's like
It's a whole scene
it's a
with
full
Gavin.
scene.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember.
it's
It's a scene where it's like Gavin's got sticky notes with dicks or something, and you're wearing mascara as a beard.
Oh right, that
Oh
one.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it here.
That's all.
It's all mascara.
Look, you can obviously tell now.
Now that you know.
You look like David Blaine or something.
There's a close up too later where it's like you can clearly tell.
Oh,
No, see, yeah, you obviously shoot it to not show my face. You obviously shoot it or
Yeah,
frame it to not show
hiding
my
the
face.
face.
Yeah, God, that's terrible.
It's funny when you do stuff like that and people don't understand what the reason was, but they notice something's different. Like, what's wrong with Gus's face? Like,
Yeah, they can't exactly pinpoint it.
yeah, they just think it's something naturally that's just distorted.
My
and
face, there's a lot
horribly
wrong with my
wrong.
face
Yeah.
already, so it's
Yeah.
like there's nothing additional.
There's something especially wrong with his face this week. I don't know what.
What were you gonna say? I cut you off before the Harry's thing.
Oh, I was thinking about putting a deposit on for the Tesla, but then Jordan convinced me not to because of basically you and him.
Why did he convince you not to? What does that mean?
That's
'Cause-
opposite of what he told me.
If I would get, I was thinking like, well, if I get it now, he was like, well, you wouldn't get it until like 6 months after like Gus and I and everybody else. So you'd come to the office really excited to talk about it, and everybody would be like, oh my God, that's so last year.
I think at this point it'd be way longer than 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's gonna.
And I'd be like, I have no, there's no one that I could share this joy with.
Okay.
I'd go to Paula, I'd be like, look, it's self. She'd be like, I don't, it's a robot.
Yeah, that's he was trying to convince me to do it like the
day.
day after, and I thought about it because I love cars that drive themselves and stuff.
I can't believe you didn't do that. How did you not do that?
I just don't care about cars, and I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a car.
But you
But you
only
wouldn't
put
have spent
like
a bunch-
$1,000
yeah.
down right now.
You would have spent what? It's going to be 30 grand, 35
It's going to
grand?
start at 35.
But I just don't like spending money on cars. I don't like cars.
Yeah.
I
don't
think
wanna-
spending money on cars is also dumb. I think like cars are as a general rule like a terrible investment,
Terrible, like
thing to
because they
buy.
depreciate instantly.
Right, but I this one's not like a crazy amount of money, and I feel like it's a car you could ideally use for a while. And if you're also cutting out gasoline, it kind of like
Yeah.
plays into that as well.
See,
And by the time it comes out, my current car is probably gonna be a little
Right.
older and ready for
I mean,
replacement.
What-
You're making me feel bad
no. What I'm guessing
for not pre-ordering it.
No,
but
no,
You
because
should've.
you care about the self-driving aspect. What I'm guessing is by that point, either Uber or Google, there's basically going to be at best like a subscription service to self-driving cars. So instead of buying a car and buying insurance, you pay this much money every month, and you have all the self-driving car, cab rides basically.
yeah,
you
it'd
want.
be awesome.
And that's what you care. You don't care about the car. You just care about the
thing.
service.
I really don't care about
Yeah.
the car. I also like the idea of a car that's like electronic versus like gas power. I think that's cool. Like
Yeah.
I like all the idea of a Tesla. I just don't care about cars.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of the subscription service aspect of it. Like,
Makes
what
sense.
if you
It's like
lost your
Amazon
credit
Prime.
card and they tried to charge it while you're on like a road trip, and like you're in the middle, you're driving, and you're just like waiting, but like you hadn't made a payment unknowingly in like a month, and you're just kind of like asleep in the car, and it just like cancels your auto drive in the middle of the thing, and the car just goes running off the road, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Like,
I would think the smart thing to do would be it would then detour you to the closest office.
yeah,
And
it
it's like,
just
all right,
takes you-
yeah, and it's
it
like-
locks the doors and stuff. It's like, please pay immediately. And you're like, I'm good for it, I swear.
Or like when the cabs drive you to an ATM when you don't have any cash and their credit card.
Or the
machine is
stripper takes you to
broken.
the ATM and demands that you take out the cash. But with self-driving cars, how much do you think you're going to pay for $35,000 to me? And I think like I would personally not ever have a self-driving car, but like that seems like a good price. You're not going to get one of those for 20 grand. You're not going to get a self-driving car.
I
for
don't
20
think
grand.
people are going to own self-driving cars. They're too difficult to maintain and
Why?
probably to program.
I don't-
It's going to
I
be a
don't- I don't
completely subscription service.
Why is it too difficult to
people-
maintain?
why-
Now,
yeah,
hold on,
why-
I want to drill into this. The first thing you said. Why is it too difficult to maintain?
What if you're driving and there's a bump and something moves, and it's going to be like...
It's a car.
What
It's
does
just
it
a
mean? It's a
car.
car. All cars.
It's just a car.
Yeah, but the sensitivity. I mean, if one little thing is off,
It's
you
the
know,
same
and
thing
some
with
of
like
the-
your pistons firing or your spark plugs.
there's a lot
igniting
of
the
stuff
fuel
that can go
mixture.
wrong in
No,
your
no,
car,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just like
they're-
every now
they're
and
built
then
to handle this shit
that's-
and potholes. It's a
No, no, no.
consumer product.
All you're talking
They're
about-
But there's a
driving over
lot of things
streets.
that can happen in your car where it's like, all right, go at some point and get this looked at. If a component on a self-driving car stops working or is messed up, you're not going to get in that thing
Then
and
you
let it
get
drive
a
you around.
self-towing tow truck to come and take you to the self-fixing
what
car
you're talking
mechanic.
about, you're talking about a computer thing, and cars already have computers, and computer issues are so rare in cars.
But the thing is, it's not just a computer issue. The computer issue relies on a physical object. Like they have
A computer.
an apparatus. No. What I'm
that's
saying
the
is
case
it
now.
relies with like a physical apparatus on the
That's-
top of your car.
That's
There's
the case
more
now,
points
Brandon.
of failure.
That's the case now, Brandon.
We shouldn't have fuel injection in cars. That's just another point of failure.
it's more fuel
it's
lines going.
And there's a computer regulating the amount of fuel in. Just give me a carburetor and a screwdriver. That's
Look,
the way I
man,
want to drive my
there's-
car.
How many things have gone wrong in your car where you're like, all right, eventually I got to take this in? I'm telling you, something goes wrong on your self-driving car, that is not something that you want to
That
mess
is-
with.
that
It's
is
not
such
the
a
same thing.
fear-mongering
the
attitude.
dumbest-
No, it's anybody who's had a car. Ask Aaron. His car breaks every. I don't
Hey,
even know what
fuck
month
you!
he
Don't
has.
bring me into this.
No, that is honestly the,
The Miata
dumbest.
has
is
not
not
broken.
the
That is
terrible.
the dumbest thing
No.
I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's
That
all
is not the
it's
dumbest
going to
thing.
be a consumer product that's designed to be driven, and if something's wrong, you take it to the fucking mechanic. Like the car you drive now, something goes wrong, you take it to get it fixed.
There are more things as the cars develop.
That's what people- that's what people have
that will
always
bring
said.
technology.
For years.
And if you're
God.
talking about something that has to drive itself, if one little sensor is off,
Oh, like they
Listen.
wouldn't have designed the car to account for that.
no, there's probably a light that says you're fucked, dude.
Brandon,
Go
let me
get it
tell you
fixed."
something right now. The wheel bearing on your Honda on the front right is very loose. You didn't know that, but I've known it. That wheel can pop off at any time. Did you know that?
When? When did you see that?
Well, now I'm telling you, but I noticed it the other day. I heard it squealing. If that pops off, you have 3 wheels on your car, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to go like
Then
this
you're
to the
stuck.
side.
You
fix
can't
that.
drive your
You're not
car.
gonna, like-
It's not going to be able to move.
By the way,
No.
you need to change that wheel bearing.
If
This is
anything-
what I'm
not-
saying.
They should take wheel bearings out
here's
of,
the-
out of
here's-
cars.
I'm not. I'm just.
Brandon,
it's
let me tell you
worse
why you're dumb.
situation, and
Let me
it's
tell you
more
why you're
debilitating.
dumb.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all,
I'm getting loud. I
you don't know
need to
anything-
stop being
you don't-
loud.
Yeah, you don't know anything about cars.
That's not true.
You don't know.
You don't know anything about cars either.
I know. I
You
do.
know why I know stuff about cars
No, no,
now?
no, no.
Is because they work like planes, because it's driving by wire. They're all electronic. I just bought a car. I know when you brake, you're not actually doing anything physical. It's the computer.
That's why you know about
braking.
cars now?
It's the computer.
Yeah, I mean, it's because like in I learned all about flying by wire and all the plane shows.
He doesn't know
And then
anything
it was
about
driving
All right,
by
first
wire.
of all,
We know about flying
first
by
of all,
wire.
you just said computers are cars are all driven through computers.
Yes.
The reason you don't want to drive a self-driving car is because it's controlled by a computer.
No, not because it's controlled by a computer, because that computer relies much more on physical pieces of equipment in order to function
ultimately, I think
than like
the-
my car now.
The thing he's worried about, and I'm going to try to distill his fear, he's worried about the cameras and the sensors on the car braking. Is that correct, Brendan?
Yeah,
said
and then
the
even
thing on
braking,
top, right?
dysfunctioning.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that's the
Are
point
you
he's worried
worried?
about.
So, from a safety perspective, you will not get in a self-driving car.
No, I'm just saying
aren't-
there's more points of failure than with another car. And if something fails, I don't think you fuck with it. The car just doesn't drive itself anymore. Whereas in a regular car, something goes wrong. It's like, all right, just eventually take this in and get it looked at. Like if I have one little error light in a self-driving car,
It's just going to
freak
stop.
out.
It's just going to stop, though. It's just going to go woo and stop. Because they're going to know. They're like, there's going to be some crazy asshole that as soon as he sees the error light, he's going to freak out. And they'll just have an internal
Who
thing
would not freak out?
that shuts down the car, and it'll just go to the side immediately.
any component that doesn't work, it'll stop.
And also, I think it'll have like sensors that are not just like GPS satellite stuff, blah blah blah. That it'll go to like manual mode and like no.
I'm not trying to say I'm afraid I'm gonna die. What I'm saying is, it's more annoying because if anything goes wrong, the car becomes unusable. And there's more points of failure that that
here's the
people
deal.
I've been saying to people, as technology gets added to cars,
Yeah.
and as it's been happening over decades, I'm sure people have thought that every single time. Every single time a new piece of technology comes around and gets added to a car, someone says, oh, well, great. Well, if that new piece of technology gets broken, now my car's worthless. And now I can't fix it. And that was like the big thing when cars went from and added fuel injection and all these onboard computers. Like now it wasn't like I used to drive an old car, right? And it's like I kept a toolbox in the bed of my truck, and I was like, if something breaks, I'll just pop up the hood, I'll fix it wherever I am on the side of the road.
Whereas now you can't get it.
can't do that realistically anymore with a more modern car. But this is just the next extension of that, where it's like further, removal of the driver as someone who can work on the car.
No, I get that.
It's the same
I just
with,
think
it's the same
more
with
point.
every technology, dude.
Because our car has sensors too that helps you brake. Like the car will brake itself if it thinks you're going to crash. But if those things stop working, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
it's just the danger in requiring on not computers and
Companies-
computer interfaces, but physical things on the car,
Companies like Mercedes, right, for a number of years now have had
which are developing their own self-driving car. I
self-driving
believe,
car,
yeah.
but they've had
They would sell for consumers.
They've had a system. They've had a system in their car that detects if you're falling asleep. It's dozens of sensors that detects if you're falling asleep. They've had it for a number of years now. If those systems were to fail, and think you were asleep, the car would, warn you or shut down or whatever. Well, those things don't fail that often, and it's the same thing. It's
It's because they designed it for that.
To Chris's jackass comment, I believe Mercedes is selling those vehicles to Uber, but I could be wrong.
I want
All I'm
a
saying is
self-driving
that's
motorcycle.
the- that's the order.
Whatever you were worried about, Brandon.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Someone else is worrying about it.
Yes.
And creating a solution for it.
Yeah, I believe that.
And you need to get that wheel bearing fixed. Otherwise,
think
you're
I
going to
fixed
die
it.
without a computer.
No, I think that was a while ago.
Oh, maybe.
I got it fixed.
All right. Well, it's time to wrap this up.
Finally.
Want to thank everyone for watching. I do not want to thank Brandon for being here. He ruined it in the last 5 minutes.
I thought that was good. No,
We'll see you guys next time. I'm really sorry for Brandon.
Yeah.
but
We are too.
I thought we should